Yeah. Family, y'all. Just keep it tight, keep it tight, keep it tight. All right. Yeah. Here we go, here we go.
We get into Aristotle's Ethics. This is fascinating now because we have all of these notes on what it is that Aristotle believed about ethics, about what's right and what's wrong. Aristotle's ethics are teleological. Again, we're going back to this word. How it is that Aristotle's ethics are all oriented toward the end, or toward the goal, toward the aim of something. We distinguish in ethics, there are two different types of ethics. We're going to hear about this when we come back to the study of ethics in a future course. There are two types of ethics. There are teleological ethics, and there are deontological ethics. We used in our first class together the example of the man who comes to the door, knocks at the door, and says, "Is Sandra here? Because if she's here, I'm going to kill her." Whoa, there are two types of ethics. There's teleological ethics and there are deontological ethics. Deontological ethics means that there are rules that we have to follow, like thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not bear false witness. So, if we follow a deontological ethics, then when I answer the door and he says, "Is Sandra here? Because if she is, I'm going to kill her," then I have to say, "She's here." Because I cannot lie. Deontological ethics is a rule that I cannot break. Whew. Aristotle was not deontological. He was teleological, which means that he was thinking of the end or the goal, which sometimes justifies the means, which means that if I lie to him and say, "No, Sandra isn't here," then I've lied. Yes, but does that mean that it's wrong? No, because we're thinking about the end or the goal, which sometimes justifies. So, Aristotle said then that actions are not right or wrong in themselves, that it's not right or wrong to lie. Lying is not right or wrong in itself, but instead, what's right or wrong are those things that are conducive or not to our good. So if I lie to protect Sandra, that's conducive to her good and to our good. Oh, okay. If I lie to get someone else in trouble, then is that conducive to my good or that person's good? No. So that would be wrong. That would be bad. So for him, whether something is right or wrong, it's not that something is right or wrong in itself. Lying or murder or anything else is not bad in itself. Think about the example of murder. Is it bad to kill another person? Soldiers do it all the time. Oh, self-defense, right? Okay. So it just seems that we have to think about the end or the goal, says Aristotle. How is that different from the Jewish religion? Did the Jewish religion think that way? The Jewish religion was a list of rules. Right? Our ancient Hebrew ancestors, 613 rules to follow. And these were the rules and you had to follow them. And if it said don't work on the Sabbath, don't work on the Sabbath. Jesus, for Christ's sake. Right? What conduces to our good then is right. If it leads to your good or to our good, then it's right. And if it's opposed to our attaining of the good, then it's wrong. Aristotle says that everything aims at some good. Think about it for a moment. Everything is oriented towards some good. It has some goal at the end that is good. The doctor's art aims at health. Why do doctors do what they do? To keep people healthy. Oh, that's the end goal for doctors. The seaman's art aims at safe voyage. Why does the ship captain do what he or she does? Oh, the end goal is to have a safe voyage. The economy aims at wealth, at increasing a person's wealth. And so how it is that everything has some goal or some end, some aim. Aristotle noted, though, that some ends are subordinate to other ends, meaning some ends are higher than other ends or goals. So that, for instance, the end of a medicine producing sleep, oh, how good, right? There's a medicine that causes you to sleep, if you're in pain, for instance. Oh, that seems like a good thing. Is that the ultimate goal for you to sleep? No, the ultimate goal is for you to have health, which is the higher goal than you sleeping. So there's a different hierarchy of goods, if you will. For instance, the other example he used was the blacksmith. The blacksmith makes bits and horseshoes. Does the blacksmith just make horseshoes for the sake of making horseshoes? No, it's actually for another goal or end, that of winning war. We've heard that poem about how it is that the war was lost because a single horse was lost, and that horse was lost because the horseshoe was lost, that horseshoe was lost because a nail was lost. How was that one nail, because of one nail, ultimately the battle was lost? That's essentially what Aristotle is getting to here. How it is that the end goal of that nail in that horseshoe is to win the war. So there are certain ends or goals that have other ends or goals in mind or in view. Aristotle classified ethics as a branch of political or social science because it studies our good. What's our good as a people, as a state? And Aristotle said, think about that, isn't it true in the United States today, that the state's good is always greater and more noble than the individual good? Why do people give up their lives, sacrifice their life for their nation, for the state? Because it's a better good than the individual good, which is life. All this goes back to Aristotle. We aim for happiness, but interesting, happiness means different things to different people. It also means different things to the same person during different times in life. If I'm sick, it would make me happy to be well. If I'm well, it would make me happy to be more rich, to be more wealthy. Right? Different things make different people happy, and different things make the same person happy at different times in their life. So Aristotle was suggesting that happiness from sensation and sensual pleasures must be a lower happiness, because we share this with animals. Animals eat and are content. We eat or do any number of other things to satisfy sensual pleasures, okay? But we share those things with animals, so that can be the highest good. It seems that our highest good has to be something that we alone do as human beings. What is that then? For human beings, we reason. Animals don't. So our highest good likely comes from our reasoning activity. Which comes first? Goodness or virtuous acts? Do you do good things and as a result you're a good person? Or are you a good person and for that reason you do good things? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which comes first, being a good person or doing good things? For Aristotle, goodness is developed by doing virtuous acts. So first we do good things and then we become good. How so? The example he used was of children. You know, we teach children what good is and that they need to do this because it's good. So they do that, they do the virtuous act, and later they come to understand why it's good, right? We teach them as children, brush your teeth. Why? I hate brushing my teeth. They don't understand that it's good, or whatever example we might use. Eat your vegetables. Why? I hate lima beans. Eat your vegetables, right? They begin, when they eat their vegetables, they're doing a virtuous act, they're doing something good, and only later do they start to learn what goodness is, and they start doing it because it's good, rather than because they're told to do it. So Aristotle says, for instance, we learn to tell the truth before we learn that truth-telling is right in itself, and before we choose to tell the truth for its own sake is the right thing to do. And really only then is it really virtuous. We're telling the truth before, but only because we're taught to tell the truth, rather than doing it for its own sake and because we believe it's the right thing to do. All virtues, says Aristotle, are means between two vices. This is a key part of his philosophy. How it is that a virtue is simply the means between two different extreme opposites. So that, for instance, some examples are courage. Courage is the virtue, so that's between two opposites. What are the opposites for courage? Foolhardy boldness, rushing right in. And the other opposite is prudent foresight, standing back and calculating whether or not I can win. Courage is somewhere between the two of them. Liberality, being generous. Being generous is somewhere between prodigality, the prodigal son. What's the prodigal son? The one who went and spent everything he had. Being generous is somewhere between spending everything, giving everything to people, and not giving anything to a person, illiberality. Self-respect is the mean between humility and vanity. Wittiness, well, I like this one. Wittiness, being funny, is a virtue. Being funny is a virtue. What are the two extremes? In order to be funny, you're somewhere between boorishness, being boring, and the other opposite would be buffoonery, just trying to be a clown. So the virtue of wittiness, said Aristotle, lies somewhere between the two, between being boring and being a clown. Being funny is the happy medium between those two. Aristotle's analysis of the moral process, this gets fascinating now. Why do we do the things that we do? Aristotle says that, first of all, we desire an end. He's always thinking about the end of the goal. He's always teleological. He's thinking of the end. We desire some end. And so we deliberate and we see a certain thing as a means to that. And how it is that another thing will get us that, etc. So for instance, the language that we use, that Aristotle used was, we deliberate and see that the letter B is a means to the letter A, and that C is a means to B, and D is a means to C. We sort of like logically connect this all. What we want is A. But in order to get to A, we need to go through B and C and D, right? You need to go through D to get C, and C to get B, and B to get A, right? I'm going to graduate from high school. Okay, let's back it up. In order to graduate from high school, that means you have to graduate from 11th grade and be promoted, which means you have to graduate from 10th grade and be promoted. Which means, I mean, you can keep backing this up. So Aristotle says that what we do then is we come to the point where we choose, where we come to something we can do here and now. Okay, you want to graduate? You're only in the 7th grade. So you have to figure out what you can do here and now, today, to graduate later. Follow me so far? So in ethics then, what we want is we want some end goal. So what we have to do is we have to figure out what it is, tracing that back that we can do here and now today in order to get to that end goal. And then Aristotle says we choose to do that thing here and now, and then we act. That's the process of decision making. Let's use a concrete example then. If seeing health, if I see health as a means to happiness, I want to be happy, and I believe that being healthy is an important part of being happy, right? If I'm not healthy, then I'm going to be happy. So, okay, I want to be happy. Health is important for me to be happy. What does that mean then? Okay, then how am I going to achieve health so that I can achieve happiness? Okay, in order to achieve health then, I need to walk and engage in other cardiovascular exercises. Oh, okay. And then I have to find something that I can do here and now today in order to be able to realize that goal. Okay, what can I do to realize that? Oh, well, I'm going to go for a 5-mile walk after this class. Okay? The end goal is being happy. What I want is to be happy, but I realize that walking 5 miles tonight after class is an end toward getting me toward that happiness. Why do people go to the gym? It's because ultimately, you follow the goals. Ultimately, there's a goal of happiness at the end of that, and they're tracing it back, believing that going to the gym is going to get them one step closer to whatever it is that they're doing that. Why is that person who didn't go to the gym, why is that person, instead of going to the gym, stayed home and watched television and ate potato chips? Right? They believe that that was one step in the direction of making them happy as they define or perceive happiness to be.